This next question here is really directed towards Representative Jones and Representative Vickrey. And since you have the mic, you could start. Why do you feel it is okay to vote for House Bill 2453, which legalizes discrimination against a portion of your voters?
Great question. 2453 is definitely an experience. For 2453, and I actually have a copy of that bill if you would like. I hear people saying, what is 2453? 2453 essentially is, it protects conscience, if you will, religious liberties, that kind of thing. I like to look at it as like maybe a conscientious objector for a war or something like that. We protect individual freedoms of people. Now, when I guess I'm not a lawyer, or I don't know the law to the nth degree when it comes to things. Because when I looked at the bill, I thought it did a really good job. I didn't see that I could really throw on any amendments or anything since that time, since we voted for that bill. And it has to do with marriage. And then same-sex couples, that kind of stuff comes into play. And so since that time, I've had constituents call me, and we've gone through the bill, we've looked at it, and they have pointed out things that would be weaknesses, people who know the law well in my district. And so now it did pass out of the House, and it's going to the Senate. And so we're talking to our senators about those things, and this is why we have balance of power, balance, in our government, so that any weaknesses like that can be pulled out. But the goal of it is, if you have a religious belief, or something that would go against your conscience if you did, that's what it protects, and that's something that we should all have protected. That's why America, when it was founded, it was important. And so I'm going to speak from my own personal experience here to hopefully shed a little bit more light. But I'm an ordained minister, and it's in a full gospel church. So I'm ordained through a full gospel church. So in my personal experience and belief, I believe that the Bible, what it says, is inerrant. And so with that, there's things in there that limit me. If somebody says, hey, go do this, I go, nope, can't do that. Whether that's saying a curse word or marrying a couple that are of the same sex. For me, I can't do that. And I would give up my job. I would give up anything. Because for me, that doesn't please my Lord. So I can't do that. This law protects me. I don't have to be sued if somebody comes to me and says, do this service for me. And so and so that's who it protects. It protects. Another example is that has been used is a florist who's up in Washington. Now here's the thing: the states that have passed this law, similar law to this, states like California, who already have same-sex couples being married there, the bans were already eliminated, and so they're bringing this law now because they're seeing it as a need. We've done it preemptively. Now, Kansas, we want to be preemptive. We want to be out there and doing things right, obviously. One of the questions that's been asked of me is that, well, why are you doing this now? We don't need it. This is true. But again, if, as we have, judges kind of rule off of precedents. And so Virginia's law was a same-sex ban on marriage just was overturned just like 2 days ago. And that's what, it's a precedence. It's happening from federal, and now it's coming down. So our judges are making those laws. It's you can almost foresee that will happen in Kansas, because a judge, whether they're whatever, they just follow precedents, what has happened. So that being said, we were trying to be preemptive, and I saw this bill as a protection for people's religious liberties, and so and that's why I chose to vote for it. I really think the idea of the bill is good. When I looked at it, I thought it was right. Since then, we've looked at some things that could be issues, and so those will be cleaned up. And I really feel like that this bill will be good for the state of Kansas. I think it's something that we need. So hopefully I don't talk too long. But I do have a copy of the bill too, because there has been people who just say, "Oh, I want to read the bill," right here, and you can read it. So.
Thank you, Representative Jones. Representative Vickrey?
Well, we're in a time where the federal government, Obamacare, is requiring Catholic hospitals, or has tried to perform abortions, provide care that they don't agree with, that they're conscious that they object to. And we were just looking at protection for churches. If gay marriage is legal in Kansas at that time, that they would not be required to perform services they don't agree with.
Thank you. Would anyone else, Senator Apple, would you like to comment?
About that. Is that limited to churches? If, for example, I have some feelings about dairy farmers, and I refuse to sell hay to dairy farmers because of whatever their lifestyle is it specific to religions? And most facilities, I worked as a nurse for 44 years, and know that most facilities have policies in place that protect the ethical rights of their employees in terms of participating in therapeutic abortions. Does that stretch that to include not providing services for gay, bisexual, and lesbians in the facility if they have religious, say a Catholic church has religious grounds for that? Will they deny services to gays, lesbians, and bisexuals in their facilities based on that religious context, or is it just specific to abortion? And if it is just specific to abortion, maybe the legislature ought to address the abortion issue and not globally address the gay, bisexual issue. And congratulations, Mr. Apple, on your 37 years. I've been married 35 years to the same man and live in Miami County and been perfectly happy, so.
Representative.
And I've come out to the whole world of Osawatomie.
Well, thank you.
And I'm going to allow you to do that, but I just need to point out that we can't really take a lot of questions out, so we won't get to these that have been submitted.
Yeah,
But
the
thank you.
bill,
Go ahead.
In the definition section of the bill, it only pertains to the act of marriage. So if, for example, the question was asked if a treasurer doesn't like someone that maybe they're a dairy farmer or whatever that comes in and they say, I have a objection to this person's lifestyle or the way they live, that is not what this bill does. What this bill does is if you were to come to the courthouse, ask for a marriage license, in that case, if someone was behind the counter that had a personal religious feeling about whatever the purpose of the marriage license is, they could say, I would like to have someone else give you this marriage license. It's not saying that we would deny the marriage license. It's just saying that the person that has a personal conviction about marriage doesn't have to perform that service.
Any of the senators, would you like to make comments on that?
Let me say real quick, and that's a really good question, and on like a dairy farmer, and it's only for, and I'm reading this straight off of here just so I can keep it straight, for protection of individuals, churches, nonprofits, and small business. But in this case, like let's say you're having a public wedding, and if that's the case, and you go to a small dairy farmer and you say, hey, we want you to provide the milk for our wedding, and he has a religious reason that he doesn't. He already sells you milk and he gives you milk, but on this case, he's like, I just can't do that. Well, first of all, most of us would be like, yeah, I don't want him anyway, go with somebody else. But it protects him if he says no in that case. Does that make sense?
Well,
for an actual wedding, it all has to do with the marriage. The marriage.
Mr. Vickrey suggested that the county could deny these services based on the county employee's opinion. Is that correct? Did I understand that correctly?
You know what, we need to go ahead and continue moving on, and maybe you'll have an opportunity to ask individual questions afterwards. Did either the senators have a comment that they wanted to make on this, or can I go on to the next?
Just that the bill is passed from the House over to the Senate. Don't know if we'll take any action. It looks doubtful if we'll take action on the bill, but yeah, we'll see where it goes.
Thank you.
Yeah, the bill has been assigned to the Judiciary Committee, and it's up to the chairman of that committee and leadership to decide whether we go forward or not. I know they are talking to a lot of senators to figure out what to do, what movement on the bill. But, you know, when we pass legislation like this, there's 165 legislators up there looking at this, so we need to get it right.
Thank you very much.